Hello, Shadowcat back with the Chicken Police, and we are in the asylum. It's quiet here, with just the sound of screaming patients and wailing sobs in the background. We got information that there may be a person of interest here, Albert Wessler, the brother of Ibn Wessler. What does he have to do with this? We don't know. But the evidence that we found from a corpse was a tag that belonged to this institution, and so now we're here to find out whatever we can. We met a receptionist who was absolutely infatuated with us, and she has since gone to get the doctor of this place, leaving us alone to investigate. I don't know how long she's going to be gone, but I feel like we should get to it. So what's down here now?
We need to let them know we're here first.
I did that. We've already examined the mural, we already looked at the window, we've already seen the resident.
It doesn't matter how big a star you once were. Ending up lonely and crazy in a rotting insane asylum in the middle of nowhere is like the universe restoring its balance.
That was very poetic of you, Marty. Almost deep. Careful you don't drown.
Cluck you.
I call it Icarus Syndrome. In the end, we're all going to die by that which we took for granted in life. Maybe we can go upstairs?
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great Wild Ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly. Great Wild Ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Okay, so we have new information already. Albert is gone. He's not here. So that means one of two things. Number one, he's dead. And that wristband actually belonged to him. Or, I think, number two, Ibn's dead, and Albert's taken his place. Let's look around real quick, though.
Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
I see. That makes sense.
Kinda, I guess. What else can we look at? Not the walls. Ugh, the view out the window is terrible.
Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal, too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient, am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
That's disturbing.
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you maybe neither of us.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No appointment for us. We would quickly end up being residents here. Okay. Well, let's take a look first.
A snake. I can't help it, but they make my feathers stand on end.
Yes. See, my general rule of thumb is never trust anything with more than 4 legs. Never trust anything with less than 2. But I suppose he actually does have 2 legs and 2 arms, so can we trust him? No, I'm going to go back and say never trust anything with less than 2 legs, and since he's a snake, he counts.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuus Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from
the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, Detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes. Why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service, but you must understand, I can't disclose information about my patients.
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, Detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, Detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
Okay, that's fair. No new information in that, though. Not that I can really tell. It is weird that they call him Dr. Quetzal. Who shortens their second name? I don't know. But let's ask him some questions. Alright, first off, tell me about this place.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Clawville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance.
Interesting. Okay. Let's get to the heart of the matter, then.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time. His first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
Oh, so this place is funded entirely by the king, which would make it a wonderful place to dump people you didn't want to hear about. Interesting. That could have implications later on. And since I'm here, do you know anything about Madame Zavas? Lizard to lizard.
Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence, you cold-blooded freak. Alright, time to get to the bottom of this then. I'm not looking forward to this, though. He's smart. And smart ones are hard to trap.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle.
Alright, so he is mysterious, but like I said, I'm more concerned about him being smart. I have to be smarter than him. And he already is starting at a massive disadvantage. So let's begin.
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible gray ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
Okay. So, addicted to details. He does love his details, and that I can lean on. If he wants to talk, we'll let him talk. So did Ibn Wessler threaten him in any way? Not even going to bother asking. That's a stupid question. Let's talk about his treatment.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
Okay, let's just keep him talking. Keep him talking. He's not going to answer me whether he thinks anyone's a threat, because he's not going to think anyone's really a threat, I don't think. How did Albert relate to you? That could be an interesting question. Touch on something personal. He's going to love to talk about it. How did he see you when they first met? I like this one. This is generic. It's plain. It's simple. It's on the first meeting still. Yeah, we're going to ask this one.
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched anything. It was evident he was exceptionally intelligent. He measured and observed everything around him.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes. He was rather feminine. He was an artist, Mr. Featherland, a magnificent painter, and rather good writer, too. Sometimes I even heard him sing.
Why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
Okay. So, why did he have to be locked up?
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details.
And importantly, he didn't escape. He didn't just disappear. He just left. Okay. So we're going to focus on the details. When and why did he leave? The first time.
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
That was unusual for him?
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared at the empty wall for hours.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting for his brother.
Was it a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly. So you already knew about that.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it.
He's the one that painted the portrait that was in Natasha's room. Okay. Okay. So he left on many occasions to continue working on the painting?
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous.
Albert was hurting himself. And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert. Focus. Confused.
Okay, well, that shoots my theory then. He cannot have taken the place of Ibn. Unless it wasn't Ibn that came back. Or wasn't Albert. What if it was Ibn who was delivered here? Without a tongue to tell them that he was he was not Albert? Ooh, no, this could actually support my theory. Okay. We need details. He's confused. We need to lean on the confusion, though? He doesn't believe that Albert had an accident.
You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right?
Of course not. I'm not naive. I knew immediately that Albert had been severely battered, and I was sure it had been his brother, Hobart.
Well, we don't know that, Dr. Quetzal.
Would you defend a monster?
Take it easy, Doc. One of the most critical elements of my job is not to make assumptions.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Featherland. I'm sorry I got carried away.
It's all right. Happens to everyone.
Alright, we lost a lot of points there. Alright, so what was his condition?
Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident?
Mind your tone, Detective.
Sorry, Doc, but I can see you're disturbed by these memories.
How could I not be? I'm not a monster. We're talking about a mutilated animal here.
So, what was he like after the incident?
Even more silent than ever. No surprise, I suppose. He was not only silent in words, but also in his soul and spirit.
What do you mean by that?
He never painted anything again, and his seizures completely stopped.
Alright, so that didn't help us anyway. But his seizures stopped? That's not something you can control. If he stopped having seizures, then either they were cured, or they were never a problem in the first place.
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay, that interrogation could have gone better, but I think I got something here. Oh, that was good information. That was good. We know that he was changing every time he left. And I still think that he took the place of Ibn. I think that Albert is now in Ibn's place, but I don't think he chose it. I think Natasha coached him into it, guided him into it, until finally he did it. They cut out his tongue so he couldn't tell anyone that Albert had taken over. I think the eye is just ancillary. I don't think they intended that. Broke his fingers so he couldn't write anyone. Basically made it so he could not communicate at all, and then locked him away in a place where he could disappear. And nobody would ever have to think about him again. Oh, I think I'm onto something here. Okay, thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help. I don't know how I prove any of this, but we're gonna work on it.
That's quite shocking information.
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us, horribly mutilated, he was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. Wessler lived in exceptional circumstances.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but Albert certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's, surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here. I can almost smell them.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil, aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird.
Except that they don't really have noses? The beak holes are literally just holes in their beaks. Seriously. There's like not really a nose on a bird. You can, like, look at a duck. You can look right through one nose hole and out the other one. It just goes into their beak. Okay. This is actually a really nice room. I mean, except for the walls. And except for the back wall. For somebody who is such an impressive artist, that is not art. That is the ravings of a madman. Okay.
You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're right.
As always.
Okay. Lots here. Those look like chess pieces. A picture of Natasha and both brothers. More chess pieces, Albert's letter, papers. That is a seal. And that's wax, so yes, he had the ability to seal letters. Alright, let's start with the picture.
Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Trying not to. Okay. Random papers.
Scribbles, newspaper articles, study papers, poems. Perfect chaos.
Just like the troubled mind of a troubled fella.
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
If you say so, boss.
I like to call it natural order. Things usually sort themselves out on their own. Alright, what's in here?
Look at that. A letter.
And we're just gonna take it. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Let's look at the... Ooh, there is a window up here.
A small window. A small hope.
But even he couldn't fit through that, and they said that he just walked right out the door. And there's a painting right there. Let's look at the creepy mural first.
No way. Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything.
Maybe. There's a face, eyes, the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 2 bars in 4/4 time. A face and a hat. Could be a cat. Or the hat that tall could be a bunny. dripping with orange. I lean towards Bunny. The only Bunny I know is back at the hotel. Besides, I don't think Lewis is that interested in or involved in this anyway. But I could be wrong. Scribbling of a woman? Looks like she could be a fox? Nose is too long to be a cat. I don't know. Nothing about this makes sense to me. I guess you just have to be a certain level of insane. And now there's a painting on the wall. One last look. That is not what I expected.
The style. It's very familiar to me.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little.
No, he's right. It's similar to the painting that he did of Natasha. I'm gonna guess oil on canvas, given the way it's all cracked. 'Cause I think oil paints do that. I don't see anything else that's of a particular importance. So let's look at what we picked up so far. So first off, we got a picture.
Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman.
Okay, the fact is, though, that they are identical twins, which means that my theory that Albert switched places with Ibn totally still stands up. Now, can we open this? I know I don't exist. I don't exist because you don't see me. But I'm not what you think I am. You don't think about me, do you? Never. No. I think of you. Every day, every minute, always in my dreams, I have become one with him, one soul. You know who I am thinking about, right? Can you feel it? Can you feel that I'm there too? With you. Do you feel it, right? I can't hold it in myself for much longer. Forgive me. Forgive me, forgive me, please. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. The world is crashing down. The whole world is rotting and rotting. Everything is rotting around me. I have to get out of here to become one with my destiny and one with you. Forgive me.
Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that.
Okay.
What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home.
Okay. We're done here. Thank you, Dr. Quetzal. Ooh, but I can't ask him about this.
What can you tell us about the woman in the photo we saw in Albert's room?
Do you mean Miss Natasha Katsenko? Well, yes. I don't know much about her, but everyone heard her name and her voice around here.
Did she ever visit this place?
Never. But if you ask me, Natasha probably didn't even know Albert was a resident of our institution.
And Albert, did he mention her often?
Constantly. It was obvious he had an affection for Miss Katsenko, but I wouldn't have thought for a moment he could escape because of her.
I wouldn't jump ahead, Doctor. Something else could be behind Albert's disappearance.
Do you think so? All the signs clearly indicate this.
Maybe they do, Doctor, but in my line of work, logic's not always the best advisor.
In 99% of cases.
Exactly. But this one typically belongs to the remaining 1%.
If you say so.
No. There's logic and then there's instinct. My instincts tell me differently.
So, detectives, have you found what you were looking for?
I'm afraid we have, Doctor. And more.
I wouldn't dare to say I'm happy to hear it, but I'm glad to be of service to you.
Well, thanks, Doc.
I hope I don't offend you by saying I hope we're not going to meet anytime soon.
Not on account of either of our jobs, am I right?
Exactly.
Okay, we can get out of here now.
Farewell, Miranda, dear. Lovely to meet you.
So, you'll remember my name?
Marty McChicken never forgets, ma'am.
Oh,
Furry gods. Let's go. Goodbye, miss. It was a pleasure.
goodbye, gentlemen. And happy investigating.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
If there's anything I can help you with, please just ask.
Thank you, Miranda. You've already helped enough.
Please, Marty, don't lead her on. And at the rate we're going, maybe I should ask her to reserve a room here. Okay. Only one place to go. That's back to Hotel Atlas. I think it's time to blow this thing up.
Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Take him out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
This again? That's it. I'm taking out your radiator. Ah, come on. What is this? It's like a semi-automatic. Ah! Stop shooting at me.
Are you blind or what? When did you learn to shoot?
I'm trying. Oh!
Whew. Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste. And it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows if we survive, he's done for.
Well, come on. What did you work out? Will you tell me already?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, we got a case.
I think I got this. I don't actually know where Deborah fits into all this, but... Alright, so we're going to start with Natasha. And... let's see. And the threats are not in here. But we're going to go with Natasha's secret. Nope. No? Okay, I must need to put an item here. So in that case, we're going to start with, this. No? Then we'll start with the picture. No! The painting piece. I see. Right, so we're starting at the beginning. We got the case. Natasha didn't try to keep the painting secret. I think she wanted us to find it. Now, this would make sense if we were saying that we're trying to hide what happened to Albert Wessler. She wanted to show us the painting, I think.
Natasha tried to show us the painting.
And why? I think it's because of him. No? Okay.
And that painting would have shown us the way.
The way to... Well... Let's see. To Ibn Wessler and Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion. Yes, because they were trying to keep him secret. and this would have completely blown it out of the water.
To Ibn and Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion.
Okay, and Albert Wessler was in love? No? No, not that. Let's see. It could be the fact that one of them was to die.
Which made Albert...
Yes. That's it, right there. That's my theory wrapped up in one thing. So he could fall in love with Natasha, and on a fateful night he killed his brother so he could take his place. This is it.
fall in love with Natasha. And on a fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart.
And that's it. So Santino agrees with me.
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Natasha.
Do you think she knew about it?
Something stinks, Marty. The whole case seems too intricate.
Too many coincidences, right?
Well, well, after 10 years, you did learn something, didn't you?
9.
You're right.
Huh.
What?
You just laughed, Sonny.
What? No, I snorted.
No, you laughed.
Ah, just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchicks.
All right, pal, that's enough.
Okay. So, Albert fell madly in love with Natasha and decided to have her for himself.
And his best chance was to trade places with Ibn Wessler.
So that's why the torn out tongue.
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical plan.
More like insane.
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert got what he wanted. He could have got away with it.
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind and a split personality. I think his two identities were at war with each other.
So the messages were written by one of his personalities, consumed by jealousy?
Something like that, Marty. But we can only learn the whole truth from him.
You're right. So, are we going or what?
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
Well, if there's anything you'd like to do before, do it now, boss. You won't have a chance later.
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap everything up.
Okay, and since we're going to be charging the Wessler mansion, there's a chance we don't come back from this one alive. Not that there was ever necessarily that chance.
Do you remember that case with the goat?
Which one?
When that demented wolf devoured the kids of a young goat mother, and in revenge, she cut open his stomach and filled it with rocks.
Do I remember? I'll never forget it. Hell, that was a slaughterhouse. As far as I know, she even took the remains of the kids with her. But how did that come to mind?
This was that shop. The goat mother was running it. They found the dead wolf in here.
This? This one exactly? Good gods.
Yeah, before it was closed down, when there was still some life here. Not even that now. Just the void.
Yeah. Spooky place, that's for sure.
Still, I love to live here.
Sonny, you're creepy.
That's literally the story of Red Riding Hood. Okay, Lewis. Hi. And maybe for the last time.
Lewis became kinda part of the team in the end, didn't he?
You mean Leopold?
God damn it. Did I mess that up again?
No, I'm just joking. You said it right this time.
Huh.
Hey, Lewis. You weren't awake all night because of us, were you?
I've never been this excited, Sonny. Seriously, it is a great honor to be part of the team. What is it?
You, Lewis, you don't stutter anymore.
What?
Just now, you didn't stutter. Not even a little.
Oh. I must be exhausted. It happens sometimes.
And it's back.
So, thanks again, Lewis. You always get us out of trouble.
Come on, boys. Don't even mention it. It is me who is grateful to be a part of an adventure of the chicken police.
Maybe the last one, too.
Hey, Sonny. Don't spoil his mood. He's so cute.
Pardon?
Nothing. Nothing.
But he is cute. He's adorable. I want to hug him. Alright, so, Marty, how are you doing with all of this?
Do you think the asylum was in on it? I mean, covering up Albert's disappearance?
You know that reptiles give me the creeps. One of them even set fire to that ship. But oddly enough, the doctor seemed honest to me.
He seemed like a patient to me. Seriously, I thought everyone was crazy in that place.
Yeah. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he doesn't become a monster.
Are you still talking about the doctor?
Good question.
Now we're quoting Nietzsche? Okay, sure. Confirmation that Nietzsche exists in this universe.
I just realized. Ibn at the Tsar Club.
Yes, Marty. Albert's been Ibn for a long time now. Do you remember what Natasha said about him?
That he's been acting strange recently?
Exactly. Like, he's not himself anymore.
It was almost hitting us in the face, huh?
Don't blame yourself, Marty. We couldn't have figured that out just by ourselves. The whole story's too twisted for that.
Well, it's how we make our living, Sonny. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more twisted cases to come.
Who knows, Marty? It's not up to us. It's mostly not up to us, in fact.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's so heavy.
So, what's the plan? We shove the letter and our theory in his face and see what happens?
Something like that, Marty. I think our presence will be enough for the truth to come out.
I really hope you're right, Boss Bird.
We have no other choice. So I hope so, too.
Do you think it's a love triangle? I mean, could Natasha love Albert as well?
Good question, Marty. But I don't think so. When I first spoke to Natasha, she told me she loved Ibn in her own way.
In her own way, huh? And could she love two rats in her own way?
Maybe. Maybe she even suspected the truth, but didn't dare admit it, even to herself.
That was my thinking too.
So, what do you think, now that it's clearer?
I don't know, Marty, but I believe Natasha didn't mean to be bad. Not intentionally, at least.
I'm not as sure of that as you are, boss. But we'll find that out pretty soon, I guess.
I think Natasha was very much aware that wherever she goes, disaster follows her. But it's not her fault, and she can't do anything about it. There are people like that.
Really? You don't say. Someone remarkably similar came to mind right now.
You mean me, right?
Who can even read minds?
Maybe you're right, Marty. Maybe you're right.
There's also another angle of this that I only just now thought of. Natasha grew up in the brothel, which was run by the Spy Master, and she worked occasionally, and maybe was even competitors with Ibn Wessler. What if she used Natasha to gain control over Albert, to get Albert to knock out Ibn? Once Ibn was gone and Albert had taken his place, a weaker-willed mind that Natasha could easily control so that it put Madame Zavos over pretty much everything in Wessler's territory. This could go even deeper still.
Okay, so when you feel we can leave, just point to the place on the map and we'll be off.
Thanks, partner. I'll do that.
Okay. Let's make sure we're going loaded for bear.
I see we're ready.
You'll need a shotgun for this kind of deal, Marty. Maybe even that won't be enough.
Nothing to fear while Bertha's here. Even less because you're here too with Mr. Sinclair, of course.
Should I cry?
That would be nice for a change.
Also, don't point that at me. Alright, so we got our evidence, got our gun.
Ah, Her Majesty Bertha II.
My drumstick still hurts every time I see her.
Be glad you're alive. Bertha rarely leaves witnesses. It's a little outdated, but I understand why you're so attached to it.
It can pierce the skin of a rhino, Marty, and the rust brings back memories. I'm a man of bad habits.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm one of your bad habits.
Rest assured, Marty, you are.
Okay. I have a fake badge.
You think you'll need your fake badge?
I never needed a badge, Marty.
What a punchline.
It's more like a kind of good luck charm. It reminds me of who I should be.
And? Does it work?
No, Marty, not really.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually had to flash our badge once. I mean, we could have, but we never needed to. So we can check the hotel, I think.
Did you forget anything, Sonny?
No, I just thought I'd take a look. Might be the last time I see it.
You becoming sentimental?
Who knows? Maybe I am.
Oh, that's cute.
Should I say it?
I know, Sonny. I can still get out.
But you won't.
On the beak.
Thanks, pal.
Forget about it. I'd be bored to death otherwise.
Alright, there's not really anything in here I don't think that I can do with the city, the cabinet, the pictures. Can't play with the light switch this time, unfortunately. Alright, there's nothing else left here for us. All we can do is leave. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here, because we've been going for too long. But when we come back, we'll check the city one more time. We'll say our goodbyes, basically, to all the people that we knew. And after that, we go to the Wessler Mansion, and we bring all of this crashing down. Every secret, every conspiracy, all of it. So if you want to be here for that, if you want to be here for the conclusion of this case, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified when it comes out. You're going to want to be here for this one. If you know somebody else who's been working this mystery too, and they want to see how it ends, share it with them. Then come back, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time for the Chicken Police. Until then, take care.